foul. You're young. All right, you ever see the new movie, the most recent one, 12 Years of Slavery?
No, I've seen Roots.
You've seen Roots. See, I thought you were too young. Roots, where did Kunta Kinte come from?
Africa?
Where did your people come from? See, we're really not Africans. We're actually Israelites, right?
That's right.
But we,
Well,
right.
my heart always tells me Egypt.
Your heart always tells you Egypt. Wow.
I'm trying to figure it out.
See, your heart is telling you Egypt based off of this. Read it again.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
You're in Egypt right now because Egypt represents right now your enslavement, because that is the definition of the word Egypt. It's a Greek word that means bondage. You're in Egypt right now. Your heart, which is your mind, according to Mark chapter 7, verse 21, is telling you right. But you're not an Egyptian, you're an Israelite.
That's right.
Read 46 real quick.
Verse 46. And they.
Stop, they. It's concerning the curses. This book, Deuteronomy, is outlining your blessings and your curses. We're not under the blessings. We're under the curses right now. And your curses is sickness and slavery. Read it again.
And they
The curses
shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder.
This is how you're going to know who you are in the last days, you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, to know that you're poverty-stricken. This is how we know who we are. We know because of the Bible told us, just like that building right there. How do you know that's the Smithfield building?
It says
It says it. It's a sign on top of it. This is what the Bible is saying about you. Read it again.
And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever.
How long is forever?
Forever.
Forever is ever, continually. So we're in what position of time frame? Are we in the beginning of time, or are we in the end time? Are we closer, are we further away from when this Bible was written? So we're in a longer distance of time away. It's speaking to the the forever aspect of it. You get what I'm saying? We're already light years away from this. This is what, 3,000 years ago? So if this was wrote 3,000 years ago and we're 3,000 years later, it's concerning you today. It's not concerning you yesterday.
so where do we go?
Where do we go? Give me Deuteronomy 28:1. Where do we go? Meaning what? Where do we go from here? What should we do?
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments.
Now this Deuteronomy 28:1 was concerning our blessing. It still applies to right now. If we listen to God and what he said, which his words is contained in the Bible, there's a reward. Read.
Which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
So our reward is what? To be on top of all of the nations that's on the face of the earth. Alright? 15.
Verse
As in so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, because you make up what is known as the Israelites. That's your biblical name.
Oh, so like how certain people got their own franchise. Everybody has their own level. Like, what about the whites and Chinese?
What about the whites and Chinese? What about your people first and foremost? What about your people though? Like who's down in the streets? Who's poverty stricken? Chinese is where? Where's their homeland at?
China.
What is their industry? How many industries do they have? They have government, they have military, they have, your tennis shoes are probably made in China. A lot of your food's made in China. They're wealthy people. You, on the other hand, where's your businesses at? Your people's business. Do we own Pat Transit? You waiting on the bus? Do we own Pat Transit? What about the job you work for? Do you own that industry? No, you do not. So what should you worry about first and foremost? I know what they are doing.
When's yours coming?
What is what?
Like, when is mine coming?
Yours is coming based off of this. If we went to slavery, I'm gonna get to that real quick. Deuteronomy 28 again. Yeah, 15. I'm sorry.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So it's telling you, you didn't listen to God's voice. We find his voice in the Bible. You didn't do nothing he said do. The result, that's what I meant when I said that there is a cause and effect. Our cause to our enslavement was we sinned against the Most High. Now we have to go through sins, right? Explain them to you for you to know what you've done wrong in order to know what you must do right. If our reasoning for going into slavery was based off of our sins, how did we get out of slavery?
How did we get out of slavery?
How did we? I need somebody to give me Baruch 3 and 8. We never left. You're still a slave right now.
Right.
The only difference is you're living in the wealthiest country on the planet. So even America's slaves get to eat deliciously with their slave masters. But when you go and compare yourself to other not so wealthy nations, how is their people who are oppressed living in comparison to you? In every country that's less economically powerful like America, their slaves live in a worse position than you.
So I have a question. How do you explain the Holy Spirit speaking in tongues? How do you, what is that?
How do you explain speaking in tongues?
Would it still be this, or is that separate?
What you was taught to believe is lies. Speaking in tongue was, according to Acts chapter 2, is that the apostles was able to speak to every other person who spoke a different language. Wait a minute, we can go into that. Wait a minute, sis.
Personally, then
Wait, listen. We can go into it, right? But first we gotta get past the initial thing of where do we go from here. Because if, you know, like, as an example, before we move on, where do we go from here?
that's a good question.
You wasn't listening to it. That's why we gotta, in order for you,
Okay.
listen,
You
in
did
order
tell
for
me.
you to get to the
Yeah.
understanding, we have to go point by point,
Yeah.
right?
I got Baruch 3 and 8.
Baruch 3 and 8.
Baruch chapter 3, verse 8. Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us for a reproach and a curse, and to be subject to payment
You're subject to payments, right? Finish it out.
according to the iniquities of our father.
You're subject to payments according to the iniquity of your fathers, meaning the sin. Iniquity means sin. The reason why we're enslaved right now is because Moses told us, because God told him to tell us that if you don't listen to his law, statutes, and commandments, you're going into slavery. Now let's find out some of the things that we're doing wrong. Give me, give me 1 John 3 and 4. Give me sin first.
1 John chapter 3 and verse 4. Whosoever committeth sin.
All right, the topic is sin. Says, what is sin? What is sin? All wrongdoing. What is sin? Now think about it. Explain to me like I'm a little child. What does that mean? What's all wrongdoing? Because some things that I think is right might be wrong to you. Some things that you think is right might be wrong to me. So how do we establish right and wrong? This Bible.
I'm scrambled because I've been taught differently.
Of
Like
course.
I'm listening to what you're saying, and some things are pieces, you know.
Some things are what?
They're like piecing together. Like questions I had, they're piecing. So it's just like, wow. A lot of things nobody tell you, you don't learn, and it takes until you get 80 before you know what the truth is.
You're learning the truth right now.
Blowing my mind.
Just because the person gets old in age don't mean they learn anything, because a lot of our people are old as hell right now and they're still stuck in their ways.
Yeah.
They're still wicked as hell. Now, like I said, the things that you think are right, I might think is wrong. The things that I think is wrong, you might think is right. So how do we establish what right and wrong is? We have to use the Bible. Now check this out, sis, pay attention. That's the devil.
No, this is my sister.
1 John chapter 3 and verse 4. Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law.
Listen, whoever commits sin is somebody that breaks the law. Read.
For sin is the transgression of the law.
Listen up. The Bible said sin is the transgression of the law. That's what sin is. Now what is the law? Deuteronomy 22 and 5.
Deuteronomy chapter 22 and verse 5. The woman,
because this applies to the woman. Listen up, black woman.
shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a maid.
So how old are you? 24. Now you made 25. You made a statement that a lot of people don't find out the truth until they're 80 years old. But there's many women out here right now that's double your age. Do they know this law? Read it again.
The woman,
even the baby women. Read.
shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a maid.
What is it that pertains to a man? That women wear. Slacks.
Oh, pants.
Pants. Because if we walk down the street wearing dresses, you automatically identify something is wrong. What is it? What would be wrong with a man wearing a dress?
He's not a
He's not a woman. Yeah, he's dressed. See, this is the law on cross-dressing. Understand this. Read it again.
The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a maid, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment, for all that do so are abomination unto the Lord thy God.
See, but people think, okay, because I have pants on, I'm not hurting anybody, right? That's what people think. But if I have a dress on, you assume I'm not hurting anybody, right? But that's very far from the truth, because as a man, what is my role in the household? Being a man. So I gotta train my woman and my daughter and son how to walk in their proper roles.
Right.
Because you have to understand, it's the man that actually teaches the woman how to be a woman.
Right.
Can you explain to me?
Wait a minute, sis, read.
Zephaniah chapter 1 and verse 8.
It's very important for you to hear this, because that's your daughter, right? But it also applies to you and your daughter, read.
And it shall come to pass in the day of the Lord's sacrifice.
The day of the Lord's sacrifice is when Christ comes back, read.
That I will punish the princes and the king's children, and all such are clothed with strange apparel.
Strange apparel is when you're dressing outside of your, give me a word.
God-given dress code.
Out of your God-given dress code. Out of your, if you're a woman, you're not supposed to dress like a man. If you're a man, you're not supposed to dress like a woman. Because God kills. You have to understand that. You have to understand that the Most High puts us to death. The reason why we came to America as slaves is because we broke that law.
That's
And
right.
both man and woman. That's why homosexuality is running rampant in our communities. Our little boys don't know how to be little boys.
Right.
Our young women don't know how to be women.
That's right.
You're not supposed to dress, act, walk, talk like you're a man if you are a woman.
Right.
You're not supposed to walk, talk, dress, act like a woman if you're a man.
That's right.
Shalom, Israel. I'm Elder Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ. YouTube likes to shut our channels down, as some of you have noticed, ever so often. Subscribing to join IUIC will assure you will always stay connected to our YouTube accounts. We want to do our best to make sure this truth gets out. Please click and join our subscriber YouTube channel called Join IUIC to stay linked to all of our videos. So again, please make sure you subscribe to this Join IUIC channel to get your latest updates from all our YouTube channels. Shalom.